Hey guys, and welcome back to Castle Crush, and today we finally have some news about the balance update that's coming soon from Discord, and I believe I'm allowed to share this because it's just publicly sort of posted in Discord. So the post says calibration update, and I'm not going to post the actual post on here because I don't have Discord on my computer, but I'll just read it to you and then post some of the information on the screen, like write some of it on the screen. So it says Orc Warrior plus 5% HP, plus 10% damage. Orc Horde will have an increased mana cost from 11 to 12. Skeleton Legion adds 1 skeleton to the selected lane. Dryad plus 4% HP. Enchanter push range increased, damage plus 15%, Fire Elemental minus 7% HP, and then Mana Ritual. They give some reasoning here, but basically only the first Mana Ritual is going to affect the next card, so you can't stack the Mana Rituals anymore, which allowed you to do some kind of crazy things at times if you got really lucky. I do think that was kind of an unusual situation, but some people would be able to get some crazy moves off with that, and then people would like think that they were like cheating or something. So yeah, so that's the extent of the balance changes. Maybe not quite as many changes as I might have expected, but I think most of them are pretty reasonable, especially some that were really badly needed, like the Enchanter getting a buff, right? So Enchanter really needed something because it was completely useless other than I'd been able to use it in one catapult deck I'd found, but even still it felt kind of goofy and didn't really add as much as I would have liked. Although what's interesting about this is I'm not sure this really... The damage plus 15% I guess is good, but push range increase doesn't necessarily help catapult decks, like help its viability in catapult decks, because it was already pushing them back almost to the castle. I'll have to kind of experiment and see. So I'm not really sure what... I mean, I guess this might help for... I don't know. But, I mean, I can see they're trying to kind of double down on its ability and make that ability its sort of niche, per se. You know, its specialty. And then the increased damage, I don't know if that's enough to really make a huge difference. Maybe it will. I want to get in there and test that and kind of see how it affects it. But that's definitely a potential big one. Dryad plus 4% HP. I don't know what that's gonna... I don't know what that's gonna actually affect in the meta, to be honest with you. Fire Elemental minus 7% HP. That's going to make it, I guess, less viable in sort of 1v1s against other higher, you know, cost troops, which will probably put more of an emphasis back on its ability to be played wherever, and, you know, its ability to be, for example, a Necromancer counter and a Rushing counter, since a lot of those troops don't have very much HP to start with, so it'll still probably beat them. This will just probably reduce its ability to compete with, like, you know, holding off higher health troops that your opponent might have in their deck. So, Skeleton Legion, I don't know if this really puts it ahead of Boneyard. You know, we'd gone back and forth in that tier list about Skeleton's Legion versus Boneyard because they both cost the same amount of mana, and they're both skeleton cards, and I thought Boneyard was pretty clear-cut better. And I don't know that this necessarily helps, so I assume it's plus 1 skeleton in the lane that you are holding over it when you play it. I don't know if 1 skeleton is going to make the difference there, you know what I mean? Because still, the main thing I brought up was that, you know, Skeleton's Legion is more vulnerable to arrows than Boneyard. So for the same mana cost, I feel like a lot of people would rather have Boneyard in that situation, especially with Boneyard's ability to, you know, it's... A lot of people consider it an advantage that Boneyard is so much more spread out, and that it can sort of spawn much farther up your opponent's end of the board. So I don't know that this is really going to make Skeleton Legion, you know, compete with Boneyard. So, but maybe I'm not fully understanding that bonus, or maybe there's like something that one extra skeleton is going to do in terms of, you know, the 1v1 matchups in that lane. Orc Horde seemed like that probably needed to happen. Orc Horde was getting picked a lot, and you know, it's pretty strong. So increasing the mana cost by 1 was probably a warranted move. Have to see how that one turns out. And then Orc Warrior wasn't getting picked much in the higher castle tiers as well. So plus 5% HP, plus 10% damage might make it more viable in the early game. As a tank card, maybe. But, you know, we can still look here, I guess, at the mana cost of Orc Horde. Orc versus... You know, I mean, there has to be something to kind of offset the fact that people like to use Golem as the tank card. So to try and make Orc Warrior actually sort of compete with Golem to be a more tank card, if that's what they want to do. I mean, I guess you could say it's just sort of a melee card, but with 1533 health, and the Golem is at, well, Golem's at 3000 health, but what else down there has a lot of health? Actually, Hollow Knight has more health than Orc Warrior. So I don't know. I guess we'll have to see how that one turns out. If Orc Warrior can actually compete with Hollow Knight or Golem for being sort of a tankier card. It does have more attack, obviously, now than Orc Warrior. Than Golem will. But whether or not that really makes it more compelling, I don't know. The biggest thing here that I don't see in this calibration update is the Dark Angel. I kind of think Dark Angel needs... Well, I don't know. Maybe they just couldn't figure out what to do with it. I thought the obvious thing was to increase its speed. But... I don't know. You guys can let me know what you think. Did Dark Angel need a buff? Did they miss on that one? Maybe they'll get it later. Maybe they're just doing it in smaller groups of cards, so it's easier to kind of see what worked and what didn't work. But I do feel like there's a lot of people in the community who think Dark Angel is pretty bad. So, and I don't, you don't see it in any meta decks literally ever. So... I don't know. I think it could use some love at some point, but I understand with the rest of the stuff. Some people might be like, why didn't they nerf like Standard Bearer or Cannon Shot or something? I don't know. I mean, maybe they didn't want to like mess up the meta such that it became all of one other type of strategy. You know, I can see Standard Bearer could be a hard card to balance because it would shift the meta so much, and you don't necessarily want to shift it to some other meta that, like, you know, now it's only like Skull Queen decks or something else. So this should be interesting though. Let's see how this happens. Mana Ritual was really popular. I think that one's definitely going to shake up the meta, perhaps. We'll see how that one actually plays out, but there are a lot of people who use double Mana Ritual, so let's see what happens there, especially to pull out dragons earlier. And it's definitely, double Mana Ritual is definitely going to hurt. Getting nerfed is definitely going to hurt Metamorph decks, I think. So let's see how that works out. So there was my little ramble about the balance update. I'm going to try and maybe we'll do an update to the tier list. What do you guys think? I might do an update to the tier list, even though this only affects a small part of it. We could do a shorter video just talking about these specific cards in it. Obviously, they say this can change before the update, so this could still change, and we won't know for sure exactly how the cards will fit into the meta until we actually get to play with them. So that's going to do it for this video. Leave a like if you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you thought about this video in the comments and what other types of content I should create. Maybe subscribe if you're new to the channel. And thanks for watching, guys, and stay tuned for more videos.